All right. Hello there, everyone. I'm Bernardo, and today I'm going to be presenting here the Fermi Paradox along with a fellow developer, Joerg from Anomaly Games, one of the developers of the team.
Hello.
Um, hello, Joerg. How
Hi.
are you doing? Hi. Nice to see your face.
Hi.
Um, so just a brief introduction. So Fermi Paradox, and actually reading the Steam brief description, is a choice-driven sci-fi narrative strategy game in which our decisions will, in one corner of the galaxy, will impact other civilizations. And we're going to be guiding some species through millennia and help them explore the vastness of space, make contact, and perhaps create harmony. So, Joerg, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. Hello from Berlin, and glad that you
Yeah,
did our
welcome,
game.
welcome to Lisbon.
Yeah.
Um, so I played a bit of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I did actually. I decided to give it like a 30 minutes try, and then when I realized 2 hours had passed by, um, which means it was being fun. It was being very fun. To me, it felt like just like a brief intro and how I felt about the game without before playing again with you. It kind of felt like you guys zoomed out from like a civilization game where we are playing God and not really managing a specific civilization. We are managing the entire universe
Yeah.
um, in a more narrative way, right? We are just like pulling the strings
Yeah.
and not so much micromanaging. So this was pretty much my feel. You want to say anything before we start, or can I start and we go from there?
You did a good introduction. Just jump into it, I would say.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. Do you prefer that I restart the game and do the tutorial again? Probably better to start a new game file. Uh,
I think
okay.
you can skip the tutorial and just jump into it.
All
Probably
right. All right.
more interesting.
All right. Let's go then. So yeah, that was yesterday. Let's go with the new one. So the game is already available on Steam, as far
Yeah.
as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an early access, so it is still in development. There is a big, huge update coming out very soon, probably this weekend or next week. Definitely before the Steam sale, the Indie Extreme event, so that everyone gets like also a nice update to this thing.
All right. All right. By the way, just since we are in this galaxy generation, let me know. This is procedurally generated, so everything is random. Every new save game file is different.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the stories are pre-written, but they can appear in any different order and can be mixed and matched. So every game is not the same, basically. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, the tutorial is active.
Mhm.
Let's see. So we are the galactic gardener. Do you think you don't think it's worth replaying the tutorial? We can
I mean,
just go and talk.
I would skip it and just jump
All
into.
right. Let's go
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, I can just choose wherever I want to start.
You can just look around and look at
Hmm.
the planets. The universe is empty at the moment, or the galaxy. We
Okay.
just focus on like 10 planets, even if the galaxy has much, much, much more planets. But we say in our game only 10 planets have like the optimal
Okay.
condition for creating life. And yeah, you can just click on one and check what's going on there.
All right. Let's go to Gliese.
Mhm.
So Gliese, a red dwarf star orbited by desert planet Gliese C and various rocky planets. So we have some resources. Actually, something that I didn't realize exactly was the difference between these three. So I don't have much information here, right, to choose from.
Yeah, yeah. These are the basic ones in the
Hmm.
beginning. On empty planets, you only get these at the moment. These give you synthesis, which is our, I don't know, God resource that you
Uh-huh.
can use to make decisions. So
All
if you
right.
click, yeah,
Okay. So every system gives you like a brief introduction when you get to it, and then you just have to make, in this case, a kind of random choice. And here we
yeah,
go. So dynamic wind patterns create marvelous structures on the surface of Gliese Sea. And we keep on going. Storm the side of Gliese Sea forms over a gas giant, and then we have an evolution event. So all the events will show up whenever something relevant happens. We get a notification, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There
So
we go. Okay.
it's a complete turn-based game. So you collect these things, but you're not in a hurry, and you can always zoom out and look around what's going there, except if you have like one of these major decisions.
Okay, so there you go. So we have the sapient life evolved on Earth.
And it's completely random that it's on Earth. It could be also somewhere else. So that we were lucky with the random generator here.
Yeah, that I can confirm, because yesterday I didn't see any references to Earth.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Okay, so a new civilization is born. A life form on the garden planet Earth has started making simple tools and has developed a rudimentary language. But which species will form a Stone Age civilization in the Sol system? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, and here it's when the decision making starts, right? So
yeah. So here you can have your first like proper big choice, which species actually becomes smart enough to form a civilization, and you see up there there's like a -30. That means it costs you 30 of synthesis points.
Right.
And the other civilization down there would give you 20 points. And there's one in the middle that is us, the standard.
Kind of neutral, yeah.
And yeah.
So there's always a counterbalance from what I understood. So we don't know much yet, but I mean, I know because I played yesterday. We have all the different parameters or stats that are going to be specific to each system, right? So we have like the science reference here, the ethical values, I believe the resources and the peace, and then the population. And then there's always a trade-off, right? Like usually sometimes you gain some synthesis, and then you will lose some of the other stats. And vice versa. Okay, I'm not going to go with the humans because I think that would be kind of boring. So I don't know. We can go with. Let's go with the dolphins.
Dolphins.
They say they are a very smart species, right? So let's go. And then we just play, and then we get there. There you go. So here are the stats, right? So what defines our planet, correct?
Yeah. So we have 5 stats. One is the first step is kind of the research, and in which technological level we are. Would we be the humans? It would be the Stone Age, but the dolphins have their own age. It's like the Coral Age. At the moment, you have like a decent Stone Age civilization of like 1 million dolphins. And then there is resources, how much harm they can do, and their ethics, which we just say, how far are you away from full utopia?
Okay.
As a measure, basically.
Okay, I'm going to ask you probably a little bit afterwards, not right now, but something that I didn't fully understand was that dynamic between the stats. So there is some dynamism, but we're going to play a bit, and we will discuss that in a moment, I think.
Yeah.
So on Earth, the dolphin civilization is born, and now we get to make some choices.
Yeah.
So we either farm some synthesis, we get some random effect, or we go for... Actually, we can start discussing what I was asking, what I was saying before right now. Because, for example, the ethical values, the negative here is not necessarily a bad thing, right?
Yeah, but most of the time, negative ethical values are most of the time bad. The thing is, if you choose these, you get 2 synthesis out of instead of 1. That was explained in the tutorial. So always, if you get these things with the minus, you get like a little push synthesis.
Okay, so you're gonna go with that one.
Yeah.
Innate injustice causes suffering and despair among the dolphins. So we always get like this message that somehow describes what our decision, which was the impact of our decision.
Yeah, I wanted to show that like that this planet evolves and that the civilization, that something happens there all the time. So even if you do these little choices, you always get like a little text that shows you why the civilization influenced in this direction or in the others. Even if you just lost like 1% utopia, but like this is basically what happened here.
I forgot to ask you: is this a single person project? Do you have a team working with you? How did you develop the game?
I have a team. I can't paint these pictures. They are too pretty.
Okay.
No, I do the programming. I do the game design. I write a bit of the text, but we have actually so many texts. We have a wide, big writer team on it, and then we have 3 artists who make the background pictures and the characters, and our composer Mona Moore does the music. So it's a small indie team,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of the central developer in the middle of all of it.
Okay, fair enough. Actually, the game is very pretty, let me tell you, and the music, because we are kind of like playing God. The music and all the OST fits quite well with the subject of the game.
Yeah.
All right. So Sol System paradigm shift in Sol. So a dolphin hunter has noticed that some animals act abnormally after consuming the fruiting bodies of a particular species of fungus. As the animals seem to suffer no long-term health effects and occasionally come back to do it again, the hunter decides to try some for themselves. All right. And so we have a decision to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here we see, since we spent so many points to get the dolphins, we can't pick the top position because it costs 50 points. So you have to do with two choices.
Right. So instead of a cultural ascent, we have to go for, if we want, for a cultural expansion or a descent. So in this case, would you say it's sometime at this point it would be worth it farming some syntheses and going with a?
It can't hurt, especially if something really bad happens, like a big war or a catastrophe. It's good to have some synthesis in the back. Also, maybe other cool events. But then your nice, peaceful dolphins are not so nice and not so peaceful anymore.
Right.
But the expansion gives you also a decent population push, which the dolphins are quite weak in the beginning. And they have a lot of resources. So it could be worth it to just go for that. But yeah, both directions are a possibility.
That was something I noticed, at least in some of these parameters, there seems to be a direct relation. So, for example, the population directly relates to the resources, right?
Yeah, so basically, as more people you have, as more resources you consume, you can reduce the amount, the rate of resource consumption, and then you can have just more people. But that's like when the resources are off, then something happens. Otherwise, if you have more people, then, or like kind of the optimal amount of people, then your research and so gets a little boost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go with the cultural expansion.
Yep.
Following your suggestion of growing the population of dolphins. Okay. So now 3 more decisions. I would say farm some synthesis because we have already felt the the lack of synthesis before. But you could also go for a lower potential of casualties and or increase our ethical values, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with synthesis because we already felt the need of some more synthesis. The dolphins mourn the death of a beloved skipper. I really like this narration because it keeps you grounded on what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So it gives you something to think about and not just like it doesn't feel like random. So I think it's quite important that you receive this feedback. Otherwise, it would just feel like what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can we can work on the resources. Can go for a random something or a synthesis. We have a lot of resources. So let's go with the random one, just to have some, I don't know, show something to the people watching the stream. Okay, so wise folk manipulate the dolphin schools for personal gain. So I would imagine this would lower some science stuff.
Yeah, that is an anti-science thing.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Also another anti-science one. Science is only represented on the tech level, correct?
Yes. Okay. So you have a bar under the tech level and how far you are, and that's basically where you want to go.
Okay.
And if you have anti-science events, it's just slower until you reach the next tech level.
All right. So let's go with resource scarcity. No. Let's go. That's right. The dolphins process Earth's plant biomass into new materials. So we spent resources, right?
Yeah. Or you increase the risk in consumption, so you have less years. So at the moment you have, I don't know, 7,000 years of resources left, and that is reduced basically that time.
Something I wanted to ask you, and because I didn't play as much to get there. What is the end game? So where am I going when I'm playing this game? What is expected? Should I expect something like in Civilization, for example, where at some point you are messing with nuclear stuff, for example, or
Yeah.
does this evolve in a different direction?
Yeah, you go even further. So in the beginning, you have these Stone Age civilizations. So they evolve kind of in parallel, and because they don't have the technology, they can't interact with each other. They don't even know the concept of other planets or so. They just see stars on the sky. But as you progress more into like modern ages, you can start sending out radio signals. You can perceive these radio signals from other stars. You can build your very, very simple spaceships that take thousands of years to travel somewhere. But you can get more and more and more advanced technology until you really can travel a little bit faster to another planet. There are multiple endings. The standard ending, I mean, one ending is everybody dies, which happens quite fast. Or one standard ending is that you, in a very high technology level, you can build together a technological project that connects the entire galaxy.
Okay.
Every of the high-end technology levels have their own project, basically. That
Let me just ask you something. One last thing in that regard, because this game also reminded me of Spore, where you started with the small cells, in the sense that there's a development of a species, and then, but Spore had a very specific feature, which was actually the gameplay changed as you evolved into the game, right? So it went from a third-person perspective game eventually, or 2D game first, and then a third-person, to then an RTS to some extent. While here we should expect the same gameplay style and interface the whole game, correct?
Yes. So at some point, the spaceships are introduced, which changes a bit the gameplay. Since there's the basic premise in the game, there is no direct communication. So it's a bit more realistic game, even if you go very science fiction there. So the spaceships and the civilization that sent out the spaceships are kind of apart from each other. So you don't have, they act as their own little civilization. I think that's the biggest difference.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so reduction in soul. There was this developmental event that was triggered. There we go. Claiming they decontaminate the water around them and provide habitat for countless creatures, a school starts to cultivate large kelp forests in their local ocean on the recommendation of dolphin folk. I also really like, by the way, the idea that something I noticed straight away was that you don't really have humanoid species all the time, like you actually conceptualize this in a way that any species could be smart and could develop into very smart societies and very ethical societies and advanced societies.
Yeah, in the beginning, when we released a year ago, a lot of the events felt a bit too human or too humanoid, and we worked on this a lot and introduced events that like work for an aquatic species or work good on a desert planet or stuff like this to show a bit this difference. And if you pick the dolphins, of course, the event should be a bit different.
All right. So there we go. We have to make some more decisions. We either grow in resources, where they were talking about some some products that were actually directly related to resources. We can develop 3 levels, just 1 level, or get to a dead end, right? What is the description? The kelp spreads and pushes out other underwater flora. Overgrown turns entire oceans regions into muddy underwater wastes. I'm not sure, actually, when I look at the progress bar on the resources, it seems to me that I can still risk losing some resources at the cost of getting some more syntheses.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Okay. We don't really have many problems in terms of warfare, right? So we should. I don't see a benefit of investing here. Not right. I mean, although sometimes this actually confuses me a little bit. If I chose this one, this would lower harm potential or increase harm potential.
So this is a bit confusing. It lowers the piece, so it actually increases the harm potential, and that is confusing.
Okay.
Should either change something, but the peace symbol is just clear that it's it's a negative symbol.
Right. So a positive bird should signal more peace if we want. Okay, fair enough. So let's go. Powerful new hunting band is formed on Earth. Okay. We can get more resources. I'm gonna go with the random events because I think we are fine on resources. Population is also small. So there doesn't seem to be a problem there in terms of the ratio between both. Growing clan expands its influence on Earth. So they grew, right? Population grew.
Yeah. You were 1.5 million.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now 2.4. So and they have a decent growth rate. So they're doing well.
Okay, let's go with synthesis. We have dealt with scarcity of synthesis, so let's go. All right, I invite everyone in chat to make comments or ask anything they want, since we have Joerg here with us.
Also the chat.
The game is very relaxing, let me tell you. Like, I played it I don't usually play video games before I go to bed, but yesterday I did. It was an exception because of the event, and actually it relaxed me quite a bit. The music is very relaxing. You just like playing God here. Okay, conflict between 2 major dolphin schools is settled peacefully. There you go.
Nice dolphins.
Nice dolphins, yes. I mean, they seem very peaceful. Okay, Glee system, evolution event. Sapient life evolved on Glee C. Okay, this is something I really liked as well. I wasn't expecting this when I first played because I totally forgot that there should be more species. So this is going to be a new life form that's going to come into play, right?
Yes.
There we go. So a life form on desert planet Glee C has started making simple tools and has developed a rudimentary language, but which species will form a Stone Age civilization in the Glee system? We shall see. Okay, there you go on chat. So Prof. Ackman is asking if are all life forms carbon-based?
Kind of. We have a little bit weirder planets, but they are still in this like carbon-based vicinity. We have plant life forms and stuff like this, but yet now nothing super very weird. We don't have crystal entities.
Okay, or gas entities.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Professor Ackman is asking if there are plans for others, and I would also take the chance to ask if you want to talk about possible future updates.
Yeah, so we have a roadmap. Where we still plan a lot of updates. The next one will be about the first contact. So when the aliens finally meet, for that you need to build a spaceship. And to change a lot there. But we also plan synthetic life and also kind of the life forms that are merged between organic and technology. We also plan 3 more technological ages and a couple of more endings and gameplay variations that you have in the game.
Does that mean the game's gonna get longer, or just like it's just gonna be more parallel endings?
It will get, I mean, if you want to reach the last ending from the last technology age, it will take a bit longer, but it's not like a 100 hours game. It's more like
Okay.
a 10 hours game, I would say.
Oh, okay, so a full playthrough should be around 10 hours.
Yeah. Should I post the link to the roadmap somewhere?
I think that's fine if you want.
Yeah. Then I do that. I just pick it out. Give me a second.
I think that's fine. Then we're gonna go on and create our new species.
Yeah.
I can invite chat if anyone wants to help us. If we're gonna go with a balanced species or an unbalanced species.
Yeah.
Or I don't think you could share. If you want, either someone from the moderation team or you can send me on Discord and I'll share.
I send you on Discord.
Yeah, I think I can.
This one, where do I have to look on Discord?
Unbalanced always. Okay. I like the way they think.
Unbalanced.
Okay, I think. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna share the roadmap here. There we go.
No, we plan 9 more biological species, but they're also kind of planned out, and they are not necessarily carbon-based, but also not your standard humanoids. It's something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. Chat suggested on the Rubber Chicken TV chat, at least, they suggested that we go with an unbalanced species. What will that mean? We get 20 more syntheses. We look, but they're gonna have like a setback on science, ethical values, resources, peace, but they will have a bigger population.
Yeah,
this is correct. This is a correct reading. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think on this playthrough you're gonna reach a point where my next question is gonna be relevant. But how exactly does a species on a different planet affect others?
One is with signals. So, when they come into the industrial age, they can actually send out radio signals.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes they don't even want that, but they're like, I don't know, have weird TV or something that just travels to another star. And this signal can be picked up even when your civilization is destroyed.
Okay.
So even if there's like a nuclear war happening or so, you still can get the signal. And you can build spaceships, and the spaceships can visit other planets and conquer them, trade with them, try to infiltrate them. This will we just added like a bunch of new options for the new update, where you can like do much more different versions. You can also like come to a planet where there's a destroyed civilization, and you find their ruins, and then you can examine the ruins and stuff like this.
Oh, okay. So, but it's only at a point where our technology level allows us to go to other planets.
Yeah. If you stay in the Stone Age, you will be the Stone Age.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So, a question in chat from Seixas, and he's asking if you can have the same species on different planets.
Only via colonization. So you have to send a spaceship there, and then they build a colony, and then you have 2 species there. But it's also not like in a classic strategy game where this would be one faction, but since they are like 100 light years away and needed also hundreds of years to travel there, they are kind of 2 separate civilizations from the one core species.
Okay, so spontaneously they will not appear into different planets?
No.
Oh, and even if you go there, they're gonna develop differently?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so just a cool detail. So there was this developmental event on the Dolphin Society, And it's very interesting because just like you were saying, all the things that happen are specific to the species, right? So here the dolphins have managed to domesticate flora and fauna of the oceans, right? So they're not exactly coming to Earth. They're just like still in the oceans and creating their society underwater, which I think it's quite interesting. You didn't try to make them like humans at all.
Yeah,
They do their thing.
We thought a bit in what would be the agricultural revolution underwater, and that's like what
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some decisions to make again. We can go for a wisdom approach, where there's going to be a development in terms of science and ethical values, an advancement in terms of population and resources, and power, where we reduce the risk of having a war, but the ethical value is also lower. Interesting.
So not the other way around. You increase the risk of peace. You decrease the risk of peace. So
sorry. Yeah. Okay. So the power here could be kind of like something like a metaphor for authoritarianism, for example, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's go with advancement. So because we have still a very small population, even though it's growing, I think. Let's go. So the growth rate, I'd say it's quite big, at least from my experience. It's good. Okay, so the dolphins can now build stable lairs like in the oceans of Earth and sustain them with aquaculture. There we go. Let's go back to the car flocs, our unstable species.
Now you kind of take turns between the species. What is happening there?
Yeah.
You can
Can I interrupt and go back to the dolphins and just ignore the cas, or?
Not in these big events. So when you choose like the flares, you can go through the entire galaxy and look at all the planets. But if you have to do this big decision, you have to like make a choice there.
Okay. So a reason why I also agreed with Chat in going with an unbalanced species, it's something that I noticed yesterday, which is usually if the balanced species are very calm and you just have like development in terms of science and population, and then the unbalanced one is constantly at war and there's always issues going on, or at least there's this big contrast between both. So there we go. We have our first war apparently that's threatening a species. So on the desert planet of Glycee, water has always been scarce. Now a crisis has come for one flock as their only source of water begins to dry up. Knowing they can't otherwise survive, a charismatic elder gathers their warriors and hunting swarms to begin an attack on their water-rich neighbors. So there we go. Because the dolphins are very peaceful, but these people here are not really, right? Okay, so yeah. You go.
Yeah, and the thing is, what I wanted is that these civilizations are not like one united faction. They are like a whole planet full of different people, and they have their own conflicts. So when you make them military powerful, you also risk that when they fight against each other, that they harm each other more.
Yes. Yeah, and also like I think there's also tell me if I'm wrong, but I had this impression that the bigger the population, the higher the risk of having conflicts, because you also lower resources, and no, it's not directly correlated.
I mean, in the end, when you really run out of resources, yes, but at the moment there's no. You get also wars with like low population. I mean, if you have very few people, you don't get any wars. But as soon as you're on like your normal amount of level, it's
that's likely to happen. Okay, so let's go. I don't know. I would go with total war just to see what happens.
Yeah.
How it impacts. Probably gonna have a decrease in population. I mean, we already have that here. Also in resources, ethical values, and of course peace. So let's go with total war. See what happens. There we go. Our population is very small at the moment. 500,000 more or less.
Yeah, 500,000.
Yeah. So.
But but since they were unbalanced, they had a decent growth rate from the beginning, so they're at least stagnant. But that can also change if something. Yeah, if you have a high population, you can resist catastrophes better, or war, or invasion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now we are at the risk of extinction, actually, right?
Oh, not on the risk, but if more of this stuff happens, then you could.
Okay. Oh, we got some peace on a random event.
Yeah.
Um, let's go with some more random events. The car grew to fear their ruthless elder.
Mhm.
Okay. I was really trying to trigger something life-changing here. Powerful new hunting swarm is formed of Glycine. There we go. Let's keep going. Storytellers of Glycine inspire the car to live peacefully. Okay. Yeah, I don't think going with a decrease in population is a good idea.
Yeah, probably not.
Let me see if we have a lot of time. Not really. Probably 10 more minutes. Okay. I also like something that I noticed very interesting is that in terms of, I think in terms of technological development, you have different things, right?
Yeah.
You also have like cultural things that are related to the development,
Yes. So
like
we
poetry, music.
yeah, we not just wanted to do like, okay, this is science, this is production, this is war, but also show a bit like the normal day-to-day life and stuff, what happens
Yeah.
to, yeah.
So we have someone claiming that Stone Age Total War is not quite as devastating. Fair
Yeah,
enough. That's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Let's try to develop in terms of technology then.
Yeah, these events get also worse and worse with
Yeah.
more technology. So of course, total war with atomic bombs are much harder than much more casualties than like when
Yeah,
they
makes
have.
sense. Okay, let's try to make things a little bit smoother. Let's try to increase peace.
Mhm.
Okay, and let's go back to the dolphins. Bring on the nukes. I'm not sure we're gonna get to the nukes, unfortunately. I mean, I will
Nah,
after this stream probably.
it takes a second. We will upload next week for the Steam event for the next weekend for a demo where you kind of jump into the middle of it,
Oh, okay.
where you play have the humans in our age, in the digital age. And they don't know that aliens exist, but there's actually a neighborhood planet with aliens who has different problems. And also the humans are like a bit like us. They are a bit dystopic. They have problems with the resources, and you have to try to kind of make contact between these two planets in the demo. That's
Okay,
actually,
interesting.
yeah. There you start a bit faster with stuff like
Yeah,
like
but you also start with a more driven goal, right? Like the
yeah
game is holding your hand a little bit more in that regard, in the sense that it's driving you a bit more.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
like our
here,
dolphins. Sorry.
yeah, here it's like basically a sandbox. You
Yeah.
can do
Exactly.
whatever you want until they're dead. Then you can't do anything.
Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, because some people in chat is making comments about the looks of the dolphin, but the looks will change over time, correct?
Yeah, they have basically at the moment we have four different outfits. In the beginning, they don't have any outfit. Then this is like basically the ancient stuff that they have in the first technology levels, and at some point they will look a bit more modern, like industrial to digital age and a bit near future. And at some point they will get their own spacesuits, and
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think.
yeah, we don't have an outfit for each technology level, but like for the big uh, braces, basically. So like
Right.
far future, now, and far past.
Okay, something that I find that the game does really well, and that because sometimes people watching the stream may think, well, this is quite boring, like nothing is happening. But actually, the timing between events, like how much time you spend on each event and making decisions, it's actually just seems like to be perfectly timed in the sense that whenever you are like, okay, I'm done with the dolphins, an event usually triggers about another species, and you always feel like you're doing something. It actually gives you that impression that there's always something going on in the universe, and you have to go there.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea to
Yeah.
like show that life is happening there, but it's also kind of tricky because it's basically thousands of year happens in like a minute, and to still have a feeling that there's actually a civilization. But that's why we have these big events in between.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, so there we go with our unstable species again. We have a lot
Yeah.
of syntheses here, actually.
Yeah.
We can reach that end. Most only find death. But we already have a very, I don't know, this will probably impact population, so not good idea. Let's try to develop our ethical values.
Yeah, it can't hurt to.
All right. Okay, so Joerg, I think we don't have much more time.
Mhm. Yeah.
What are the things that you would like to say about the game that I didn't address?
Yeah, so we will be in early access for probably half a year. We try to actually release in May, but let's see. Game development is interesting. Yeah, we are also not just on Steam, we are also on GOG and on itch. We are only at English at the moment, and we will finish early access first because we have so much text in the game before we translate things. We have also Mac versions or Switch versions, or so we all do later. First we do the PC version. We have actually quite active Discord community where you can where people suggest events or quotes or ideas they have to the game. So if you like the game and or just want to look up what's happening there or have questions, you can always follow us on Discord. What else?
I want to ask
Uh,
you something actually,
yeah.
since you referred some other releases, because I know this is important for some people. Are there any ideas about physical releases, any special editions, any stuff like that, or
Yeah,
that's not a priority?
first we have to finish the thing first. It would be nice to have an actual physical version, but for now we are doing we are self-publishing, so we don't have we are indie studio. We don't have a publisher backing us, so we don't have like this kind of abilities to make like
Okay.
a physical version. But for instance, like an art book or so would be really nice. What we already did, we sell the soundtrack. So Mona soundtrack is already buyable on Steam. Um, and we already have ideas for expansions that we can do after early access. But first, we have to finish the game first. The game is playable. It has multiple endings now, and we will add more and more different things on the go.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. I just linked because someone else did on the Rubber Chicken TV stream. I also linked here on RTP Arena
Yeah.
the Discord, your Discord, so that anyone interested can follow up
Yeah.
with the project.
Yeah. Please do come around, ask questions, and yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we have to end. Joerg, it was a
yeah.
pleasure. I hope we can talk in the future again,
Yeah.
in the context of an event such as this, or just, I mean, as a gamer to a developer, because I'm definitely interested in the follow up of this game.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot
Thank-
for coming over. I hope you had a good time as we had, for sure,
Yeah.
because I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and good luck with the rest of the streams and so.
Yeah, thank you
All
so
right.
much. Thank you so much, Joerg.
Yeah. Then. Bye bye.
Are we really alone in the galaxy? Infinite stars surround our world, and aeons ago, intelligent life must have emerged somewhere and slowly evolved into a spacefaring society. Like us, surely these beings would have been drawn to explore. So then, where is everyone? Is it simply the nature of intelligent life to destroy? And maybe the only signs of life they're able to send are in a brief window before that world perishes. Still, no one has come, and no radio signals can be detected across our silent galaxy. Could civilizations ever cross thousands of light years and find more than alien graves? Maybe it's just pure luck that greed or catastrophe have not yet ended our species. Can we make the right choices? Might we learn from our mistakes? Will you overcome the Fermi Paradox? The Fermi Paradox.